Kaley Cuoco surprised everyone when she appeared at the US Open with jet black hair and space buns. That was just the start of her transformation. In 2024, she reportedly spent $50,000 on new teeth, which changed her smile completely. Fans also noticed her face seemed stiff, likely from cosmetic procedures, and she lost around 15 pounds for reasons she never explained. The bubbly girl next door from The Big Bang Theory looked like a completely different person. People began wondering what had happened to the actress who once earned $1 million per episode. Her story, it turns out, goes much deeper than anyone expected. Kaley Christine Cuoco was born on November 30, 1985, in Camarillo, California, at 7:38 p.m. Her father, Gary Carmine Cuoco, was of Italian descent and worked first as a firefighter and later as a real estate agent. Her mother, Lane Wingate, who had English and German roots, worked as a print model. Kaley grew up in Oxnard with her younger sister Brianna, surrounded by their Italian family traditions. Her grandparents, Angelo and Mary, had come from Calabria, Italy, and every summer the family would visit their homeland. Kaley grew up hearing Italian spoken around her, eating homemade pasta, and listening to stories about the old country. That culture stayed with her even when she became famous in Hollywood. Her life might have turned out completely differently if not for one life-changing event. At just 3 years old, Kaley picked up a tennis racket. Her mother encouraged her to have more than one passion, so tennis became her second love. By the age of 12, she was winning local tournaments and ranking high in her region. She trained 4 to 6 hours a day while being homeschooled and maintaining a 3.8 GPA. Her coaches believed she had the potential to go professional. But at 16, during a match in Palm Springs in 2001, she severely injured her shoulder. The injury ended her tennis career overnight. Even after surgery and physical therapy, she never recovered enough to return to the sport. The same week she stopped training, she threw all her focus into acting. She later said that losing tennis gave her the kind of intense determination she needed to succeed in show business. One childhood experience in Italy left a lasting mark on her. When she was 8 years old, her family visited Rome. While exploring the Pantheon area, she got lost in a crowd. For nearly 3 hours, no one could find her. Eventually, some kind locals who didn't speak English found her crying in a cafe and tried to comfort her until her family arrived. That day left her deeply afraid of large crowds. Many years later, while filming The Flight Attendant in Rome, she had a flashback when her hair caught fire in a nightclub scene. People started yelling fuoco, the Italian word for fire, but she thought they were shouting her last name. Though she laughed about it later, the fear she felt in that moment was real. Kaley's first time in front of a camera came when she was just 6 years old. She modeled for a toy catalog in Ventura County and earned $50. Soon after, she started auditioning for commercials. But her first big rejection hit hard. A casting director for a Kmart commercial told her mother that Kaley was too plain and lacked the spark they were looking for. Kaley cried for hours. The next day, she dyed her hair platinum blonde. Within a few weeks, she landed 3 commercials, for Barbie, Oscar Mayer, and a car dealership. That month, she made more money than her dad did at the fire station. She learned early that sometimes even small changes in appearance could make a big difference in her career. At around age 12, Kaley hit another rough patch. She had grown to 5'6", taller than most kids her age. Some classmates called her names like giraffe or giant. Once, they even tricked her into going to an empty classroom by pretending to invite her to a club for tall girls. The room was covered in mean messages about her. Humiliated, she started eating lunch alone. By 5th grade, she developed panic attacks and social anxiety. Her parents decided to pull her out of school and homeschool her, giving her space to heal and focus on acting. She graduated high school at 16. By that time, she had already been acting for years. At 7, she appeared in a TV movie called Quicksand, No Escape with Donald Sutherland and Felicity Huffman. The movie didn't become a hit, but she learned a lot on set. That same year, she was featured in her Barbie and Oscar Mayer commercials. A couple of years later, she got small guest roles on My So-Called Life and Northern Exposure. These minor parts helped her gain experience working with established actors and understanding how television sets operated. Despite appearing in commercials and TV shows, fame didn't make her popular with other kids. Some thought she was stuck up because of her acting success, even though she wasn't. Feeling left out, she continued homeschooling, which allowed her to take acting jobs without worrying about missing school or dealing with unkind classmates. In 2000, at age 15, Kaley landed her first recurring television role in the sitcom Ladies' Man, which starred Alfred Molina and Betty White. She played Bonnie Styles during the show's second season. It only lasted 2 years, ending in 2001, but working alongside seasoned stars gave her valuable experience. Still, homeschooling came with its downsides. She never got to attend a real high school prom. Her friend Ashley Tisdale invited her to hers, though, and Kaley wore a simple black dress to keep things low-key. Even then, some girls whispered and mocked her for looking too fancy. Later, Kaley said she was glad she didn't have to deal with that kind of negativity every day. In 2003, tragedy struck. Kaley was filming the second season of 8 Simple Rules when her co-star, John Ritter, suddenly collapsed on set. He had just finished filming a promo that afternoon but later complained of feeling unwell. By evening, he was rushed to the hospital. Kaley received a call around 9 p.m., but by the time she arrived, Ritter had passed away from an aortic dissection. He was 54. The entire cast and crew were devastated. For 17-year-old Kaley, it was her first experience losing someone she was close to. Production halted, and for a while, no one knew if the show would continue. Kaley later said she never forgot how kind and protective John had been toward her. In 2005, she joined the final season of Charmed as Billie Jenkins. The show was struggling at that point due to budget cuts and behind-the-scenes drama. Reports said Alyssa Milano had long-standing conflicts with other cast members, which made filming tense. Still, the role helped keep Kaley visible in Hollywood and set her up for her next big break. That break came in 2006 when she auditioned for The Big Bang Theory, but not for the role of Penny. At that time, the character was called Katie, and producers felt Kaley was too young for the part. The role went to Amanda Walsh, but test audiences disliked the character, calling her too harsh. The producers rewrote her as Penny, softer, friendlier, and funnier. Kaley wasn't sure she wanted to audition again because she had preferred the darker version. But casting director Nikki Vaco kept calling her agent until Kaley agreed. The network even delayed the pilot's filming just to wait for her. After 3 auditions, she finally got the part that would change her life forever. From there, Kaley Cuoco became a household name, but fame brought both blessings and pressure. Over the years, her looks, relationships, and choices have been endlessly analyzed. Her 2024 transformation only added to the public's fascination. Beneath the changing hairstyles and Hollywood smiles, though, she remains the same driven woman who turned heartbreak and rejection into the career of a lifetime. When Kaley Cuoco joined Charmed at just 19 years old, she stepped into a set filled with tension. The atmosphere was cold and unwelcoming, and the show ended soon after that season. Around the same time, she began exploring voice acting. In 2004, she landed a lead role in Disney's animated show Brandy and Mr. Whiskers. Halfway through production, she discovered that her male co-stars were being paid more, even though her character's name was in the title. She tried to speak up about the pay gap but met strong resistance. That experience opened her eyes to how unequal Hollywood could be, and she was only 18. Between 2000 and 2005, Kaley auditioned for over 50 roles, facing constant rejection. One of her biggest disappointments was losing the lead role in Mean Girls to Lindsay Lohan. She believed she was perfect for it, and the rejection crushed her confidence. She had no financial safety net or family connections in the entertainment industry, so every no felt like the end of the road. Still, she kept showing up for auditions, even when it drained her emotionally and financially. Deep down, she knew acting was the only thing she wanted to do. In 2006, Kaley auditioned for The Big Bang Theory at age 21, but the network turned her down. The female lead wasn't even called Penny yet. The original version of the character, named Katie, was played by actress Amanda Walsh. The pilot episode was filmed in early 2007, but when CBS executives watched it, they realized something was off. The chemistry between the actors didn't work. In a rare move, they decided to scrap the entire pilot, fire Amanda Walsh, and rework the show. They softened the female lead's character, making her friendlier and more down-to-earth. That's when they called Kaley back. Suddenly, she was exactly what they needed. CBS spent nearly $2 million to reshoot the pilot, and the new version launched what would become one of the most successful sitcoms in TV history. What started as a rejection became the role that made her a star. Show creator Chuck Lorre later admitted that the failure of the first pilot ended up being the best thing that could have happened to the series. 3 years later, in September 2010, everything almost ended for Kaley in a single second. She had been an avid horseback rider for years, but during one lesson, she fell off and a 1,200-pound horse stepped directly on her left leg. The injury was horrific. She was rushed to the hospital, where doctors told her she might lose the leg. Before surgery, she had to sign a consent form allowing them to amputate if necessary. The operation lasted hours, and when she woke up, the first thing she did was check to see if her leg was still there. It was, but her recovery took months. She missed 2 episodes of The Big Bang Theory that season. The show hid her injury by filming her sitting down or standing behind the bar. Chuck Lorre later said it was the most frightening time in all 12 seasons. When The Big Bang Theory started in 2007, Kaley was earning $60,000 per episode. By 2010, her pay had risen to $200,000. Then, in 2014, everything changed. Alongside co-stars Johnny Galecki and Jim Parsons, she negotiated a raise to $1 million per episode, a 400% increase in just 4 years. They became the highest-paid sitcom actors on television. Later, when Mayim Bialik and Melissa Rauch joined the main cast, Kaley took a $100,000 pay cut so they could get raises too. Even then, she still made $900,000 per episode. By the time the show ended, she had earned over $163 million from The Big Bang Theory alone, not counting bonuses and back-end profits. Syndication brought her another $10 million in its first year. With endorsement deals from brands like Priceline and Toyota, she earned an additional $2 million in 2013 just from advertising. But even with all her success, things weren't always smooth. In 2014, she decided to cut her long blonde hair into a short pixie cut for a movie role. She didn't tell anyone from the show, not even Chuck Lorre. When she showed up on set with her new look, everyone was shocked, including fans, who flooded social media with criticism. The show wrote in a joke about her haircut, with Sheldon reacting to Penny's new look. Kaley later called it the worst career decision she had made during her time on the show. The backlash lasted for months. Despite being a millionaire by her mid-20s, Kaley struggled with self-doubt. By 2024, her net worth was over $110 million, and at her peak, she earned more than $24 million per year. Yet, she admitted in interviews that she sometimes felt like an imposter who didn't deserve her success. The constant pressure of fame and perfection took a toll on her mental health. She began therapy to cope. Meanwhile, The Big Bang Theory was breaking records, earning over $1 billion in syndication deals and becoming the top-rated show among adults aged 18 to 49. But Kaley said the fame didn't make her as happy as people thought. There were also personal struggles behind the scenes. Kaley and her co-star Johnny Galecki secretly dated in 2007. The relationship stayed private until 2008, when tabloid photos leaked. The timing couldn't have been worse. Their on-screen characters were supposed to be falling in love, while off-screen, things had turned awkward. After they broke up in 2009, they still had to act like a couple for years. They avoided eye contact during table reads, and the tension was obvious to those on set. In 2010, Kaley discovered that her male co-stars were earning about 20% more than she was, with better profit-sharing deals. She wasn't okay with that. She brought the issue to the rest of the cast and pushed for them to negotiate together as a team. It worked, but it almost cost her job. CBS executives considered replacing her, calling her difficult. Still, by 2014, she and her co-stars had successfully secured equal pay. Season 7 brought one of her hardest experiences. A guest director behaved inappropriately toward her, making sexual comments and unwanted advances. Kaley reported him to Warner Brothers, and though the studio publicly said he was fired for creative differences, internal reports later confirmed the truth. This happened years before the #MeToo movement began, and Kaley later said it taught her never to stay silent again. In 2015, producers wrote a storyline about Penny getting pregnant. When Kaley read the script, she broke down in tears. She had been quietly struggling with fertility issues and multiple miscarriages that no one knew about. She asked them to remove the pregnancy storyline, and the writers changed the script to focus on Penny's career instead. Even Johnny Galecki, who remained one of her closest friends, said he had no idea what she was going through. By the time The Big Bang Theory ended in 2019, Kaley had filmed 279 episodes. But behind the laughter, she was battling anxiety and panic attacks before filming. For years, she hid it from everyone, even her father, who attended every taping. It wasn't until 2018 that she sought professional help. Therapy and medication helped her finish the final season, but she later said she was completely exhausted by the end. After the show ended, she launched a new chapter in her career with The Flight Attendant. Filming began in early 2020, but production stopped after 6 episodes when COVID hit. She spent months in isolation and fell into a deep depression, gaining weight from stress eating. When filming resumed, new safety restrictions made everything harder. Despite the challenges, the show became a success. In 2021, her animated series Harley Quinn caused controversy for its explicit sexual content and nudity. Parents complained, and HBO Max had to add new warnings midway through the season. Kaley said she hadn't realized the show would be so graphic. The next year, she starred in Meet Cute with Pete Davidson. The $20 million film flopped, earning only a 59% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and going straight to Peacock without attracting many viewers. Kaley, who also served as an executive producer, called it her first major professional failure. In 2023, she filmed based on a true story while pregnant. Production was slowed by her health complications, and the writers adjusted her character to fit the pregnancy. The show received strong reviews but was canceled in April 2025 after 2 seasons. Kaley Cuoco's journey has been full of success, setbacks, and reinvention. From heartbreaks and pay gaps to near-death experiences and massive fame, her story shows how determination and resilience can carry someone through even the hardest times in Hollywood. Fans were left hanging with unanswered storylines when her Broadway debut fell apart. In 2024, she had been preparing for her first performance on Broadway, training for months to make it perfect. But all that hard work took a toll. She injured her vocal cords from overtraining and exhaustion while also adjusting to life as a new mom. Her daughter, Matilda, had been born in March 2023, and balancing motherhood with her demanding rehearsals became too much. Doctors ordered her to rest her voice for months, and 6 weeks before rehearsals were set to begin, the entire production was canceled. Producers lost a lot of money, and her Broadway dream was crushed, at least for the time being. Her personal life wasn't any smoother. She married tennis player Ryan Sweeting just 3 months after they started dating. The wedding cost over $1 million, but behind the glamour, Ryan was struggling with a secret painkiller addiction that started after back surgery. She discovered pills hidden all over their massive mansion worth $549 million. To make things worse, Ryan had a criminal history, including charges for DUI and drug possession. Despite her attempts to help him, he continued to relapse. She eventually gave him an ultimatum, but when he didn't quit, she filed for divorce in 2016 and paid $2 million to finalize the settlement. 2 years later, in 2018, she married Carl Cook, the billionaire son of Scott Cook, who was worth around $3 billion. Even though they were married, they lived in separate houses. They claimed it was because they valued personal space, but insiders said Carl was emotionally distant and spent most of his time focused on horse shows. Despite building 2 dream homes together, they grew apart. Their marriage lasted just 3 years, ending in 2021. Thanks to a prenuptial agreement, Carl kept most of his fortune. By 2022, she began dating actor Tom Pelphrey. Their manager introduced them, and their chemistry was instant. Some people thought their relationship was staged for publicity, but Tom claimed he'd never even watched The Big Bang Theory. Their romance moved quickly: Instagram posts, red carpet appearances, and by October, a pregnancy announcement. However, cracks soon appeared. At the 2022 Emmys, body language experts noticed tension between them, hinting that the couple might already be in therapy. Their daughter, Matilda, was born on March 30, 2023, but motherhood brought new struggles. After giving birth, Kay battled severe postpartum depression. She also developed carpal tunnel syndrome in both hands from constantly holding her baby. She wore braces and underwent therapy that involved wires and suction cups for pain relief. She shared her journey online, admitting that there were moments she thought about checking into a mental health facility. It wasn't just sadness, she described feeling isolated, ashamed, and in pain. Kay said she wanted to be honest about how hard motherhood could be, so other mothers wouldn't feel alone. She even changed her workouts to go hands-free because of her injuries. Kay had always been open about her health and fitness journey, even when it shocked people. Back in September 2015, while appearing on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, she revealed that she had eaten nothing but almonds for weeks to prepare for her Shape magazine cover. At 29, she lost 6 pounds over 3 months, enough to drop a full jean size. Her intense routine included yoga 5 times a week, sometimes twice a day, and a severely restricted diet. She later admitted she had been eating like her then-husband, Ryan Sweeting, joining him for late-night snacks that added hundreds of calories. To get the perfect magazine body, she had to stop eating that way. It wasn't healthy, and she eventually realized it wasn't sustainable either. After shoulder surgery in 2018, Kay began posting workout videos on Instagram to stay active during recovery. She often joked about her situation, once writing, "When your doc scolds you for not wearing your brace. Alrighty then, guess we're doing it this way." But instead of receiving encouragement, she faced criticism. One user commented, "But you could wear a bra." That single remark turned her comment section toxic. Kay fired back, saying, "Don't be jealous. It's not flattering," and explained she couldn't wear regular bras because of her shoulder injury. She reminded people that it was nobody's business. At 32, she was still healing, yet people focused on her appearance rather than her strength. She became another woman in Hollywood targeted for simply existing online. In 2023, after giving birth to Matilda, Kay began sharing her postpartum fitness videos at age 37. Due to her carpal tunnel syndrome, she couldn't use her hands for workouts, so her trainer, Ryan Sorensen, designed routines focused on her legs and core. Each session lasted about 25 minutes, divided into 10 short rounds. Her goal was to help other mothers who were going through similar struggles, but critics accused her of promoting unrealistic expectations for new moms. She responded by saying that exercise wasn't about looks, it was about mental health and feeling strong again. Still, the backlash continued. In 2024, Kay took a different approach. She no longer wanted to lose weight quickly or chase a certain look. Instead, she focused on long-term wellness. At 38, she lost another 6 pounds, but this time it happened slowly and naturally over several months. She worked out twice a week, combining cardio, strength training, and core exercises. She started eating small meals every 2 hours to keep her energy up, adding more tofu and cutting back on meat. She called it a lifestyle change, not a diet. In an interview with Women's Health, she said she had to stop obsessing over numbers and focus on feeling good instead. Many fans appreciated her honesty, saying it was the most realistic advice they'd heard from a celebrity in years. By 2025, Kaley was 39 and more outspoken than ever. She had become a symbol of resilience, speaking up against body shaming and ageism in Hollywood. Even without major scandals that year, she stayed in the spotlight for the right reasons, promoting mental health awareness and body positivity. After years of claiming she'd never marry again, she surprised everyone by getting engaged to Tom Pelphrey in August 2024. She said she was happy to admit she had changed her mind and that love felt different this time. She emphasized that confidence and mental health were more important than trying to meet other people's expectations. She reminded her followers that strength doesn't always come from chasing perfection, but from embracing who you are at every stage of life. Then, on September 5, 2025, Kaley shocked everyone when she appeared at the US Open in New York. She had traded her famous blonde hair for jet black locks styled in playful space buns. Fans couldn't believe the transformation. Within hours, she was trending online, with more than 8,000 Reddit comments in less than half a day. Some called it a midlife crisis, while others praised her for looking bold, edgy, and powerful. Whatever people thought, one thing was clear: Kaley Cuoco had reinvented herself yet again, proving that she was not afraid of change, no matter what anyone said. When she arrived at the US Open beside Tom Pelphrey, dressed in a sleek black outfit and showing off her new jet black hair, everyone was stunned. YouTube videos about her dramatic look reached 500,000 views in just a few days. Some people thought she was preparing for a new acting role, while others believed she was simply trying something bold during a major turning point in her life. But even before that moment, toward the end of 2024, people had already been talking about her changing appearance. Paparazzi photos showed her with a noticeably frozen expression, leading fans to speculate about possible Botox or filler use. Reddit users compared her 2023 and 2024 photos, and one post discussing the difference received over 15,000 upvotes. Some fans expressed concern, while others were quick to criticize. Kaley had openly discussed cosmetic treatments in the past. Back in 2016, she revealed that she'd had a filler placed in her neckline to correct something that had bothered her since childhood. But now, it seemed like she'd done more, and people noticed. Kaley handled the rumors calmly, saying that these treatments made her feel confident and that she wasn't doing them for anyone else. She made it clear that what she chose to do with her face or body was her own decision, not something done to please the public. By the end of 2024, fans also noticed that her body had changed again. She appeared slimmer, weighing around 125 pounds, about 15 pounds less than before. She explained that she had lost the weight for a role that required a lot of physical activity. Her daily routine included eating every 2 hours, avoiding processed foods, and sticking to circuit training twice a week. The results were visible when she appeared at press events for the flight attendant. However, some fans grew concerned, wondering if she was pushing herself too hard or struggling with disordered eating. Kaley quickly dismissed those rumors, saying she was simply working toward being in her best shape and was finally doing things in a healthy and balanced way. Then, in early 2025, she made another big change, this time to her smile. Reports surfaced that Kaley had spent over $50,000 on dental work, getting veneers and crowns that transformed her entire look. Social media exploded with before and after comparisons, and her teeth became a trending topic overnight. Some people loved the transformation, calling it sophisticated and bright, while others thought it made her look too polished. Even a few dental experts commented publicly, including Dr. Monica Tadros, who questioned why Kaley would change something that wasn't broken. Her original teeth were perfectly fine and natural looking, but now, critics said they seemed almost too perfect. Her cosmetic dentist described the new design as timeless and natural, but fans were divided. Many argued that Hollywood puts too much pressure on women to look flawless, even when they already look great. Despite all the speculation about her looks, Kaley had built a massive financial empire behind the scenes. By 2024, her net worth had climbed to around $110 million. She began her journey on The Big Bang Theory earning $45,000 per episode, but by seasons 11 and 12, she was earning an incredible $1 million per episode. Along with her castmates, she also earned 1% of the show's profits, which alone brought her around $10 million annually. Beyond acting, she earned millions more from syndication rights, brand endorsements, and her own production company. She also continued to voice Harley Quinn in the animated series, giving her a steady source of income. In April 2024, she sold one of her California homes for $5.5 million, further adding to her wealth. But Kaley's success wasn't just financial. She continued to take on new creative challenges. In 2025, she began filming a mystery thriller series called Vanished, marking a major shift away from her recent comedic roles. Filming started on April 28, 2025, in Paris and Marseille. She plays a woman named Alice whose boyfriend disappears during a train ride, leading her into a dangerous and emotional journey. The series also stars Sam Claflin, Karen Viard, and Matthias Schweifer. The show was being sold internationally, and a distribution deal was reportedly in progress with Germany. On Instagram, Kaley posted, "Extremely grateful to head back to work. Mercy." It was clear that she was excited to dive into this darker, more intense character. Behind her professional success, though, was a personal story that shaped how she approached life and work. In 2022, right after her divorce from Carl Cook, Kaley hit one of the lowest points in her life. She was filming The Flight Attendant Season 2 at the time, but inside, she was falling apart. The stress took a physical toll. She developed a severe rash that lasted 3 months and covered her entire body. She could barely walk or function. She later shared that she had never been to therapy before, but one day, she called her producers into her trailer and told them through tears, "I need help." That confession changed everything for her. She realized that she had been using work as a way to escape her pain, pretending to be okay while crumbling inside. Her character Cassie in The Flight Attendant was also battling addiction and emotional chaos, and those similarities only made things harder. But by asking for help, Kaley began to heal. Therapy taught her how to face her emotions instead of hiding them, and since then, she's been an outspoken advocate for mental health. She often reminds fans that vulnerability doesn't mean weakness, it's strength in disguise. Now, as of 2025, she continues to balance her acting, producing, and advocacy work. She remains the voice of Harley Quinn and recently wrapped filming for Based on a True Story Season 2, with fans eagerly awaiting word about a potential third season. Outside of her entertainment career, Kaley also supports meaningful causes. She's involved with Remember Me Thursday, an organization dedicated to helping shelter pets find loving homes. Her love for animals has been consistent throughout her life, and she's always used her platform to raise awareness for their welfare. Kaley's journey from her early days on 8 Simple Rules to her iconic role on The Big Bang Theory, and now to her more mature and complex characters in The Flight Attendant and Vanished, shows her incredible growth. She's no longer just seen as a sitcom star but as a serious actor, producer, and advocate. Every change she's made, whether it's her hair, her body, her teeth, or her career, seems to be part of a bigger picture. She's still learning who she is and who she wants to become, and she's doing it openly, in front of the entire world. What makes Kaley so relatable is that she doesn't pretend to be perfect. She's faced heartbreak, depression, criticism, and pressure, yet she continues to evolve and rebuild herself. Her story isn't about fame or beauty, it's about resilience. Each new chapter in her life shows that she's unafraid to make changes, take risks, and start over if she has to. Whether she's showing up with a new hairstyle, a new role, or a new mindset, Kaley Cuoco keeps proving that growth doesn't stop when you reach success, it begins when you decide to keep becoming a better version of yourself.